Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today, we are talking about stop believing them. Uber Eats and Doordash driver says after 2,000 deliveries, they've learned that people don't tip when they say they do, so she never accepts no-tip offers. So while 2,000 deliveries may not be anything to sneeze at, it is more than Tony's shoes ever done. But that being said, she learned something about no-tip customers that I think a lot of people take a little bit more time to actually realize, and that is that no-tip offers aren't cash tip after delivery, or they will increase a tip after delivery in 9 times out of 10 cases. In fact, probably 99 times out of 100 cases, it's not going to happen like that. Probably even less if I'm really being honest. But that being said, she learned that the hard way. So with that said, I want to go over everything that is being said in this article, how it actually is on Doordash, UberEats, and Grubhub for customers and gig workers alike, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. An Uber Eats and Doordash driver recently conducted a delivery experiment where she attempted to identify which customers are the least likely to leave a tip. The video was posted by Maddie Kearns, who recorded it in response to a semi-viral video she posted earlier in the week. As of Monday afternoon, both videos have a combined 377,000 views. The things you do for content, huh? I'm gonna leave her TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. In response to Kern's first video, one commenter observed, more like 900 times out of 900, Lamau. That's how many deliveries I've done, and the only people that have added tips already tipped on their card. You see, that's kind of the point. People who tip after are also the same people who tipped before, which is why you never take no-tip offers. It's fiscally irresponsible, it has a terrible ROT, it's unsafe for your customer ratings, you can possibly get contract violations, or worse, get deactivated from the piss poor integrity and character that is the failures that are no-tip customers. This led Kearns to record a follow-up video which started with a simple observation.
This is literally the most accurate comment I've seen. I did an experiment yesterday and accepted a no-tip Uber offer to see if the customer would tip after. I followed all their delivery instructions and even dropped their food off early, but still didn't receive a tip.
I wouldn't have even done the experiment at this point. I think there are too many content creators that have already proven that. I think that it was smart because that is a good content video. It's still not something that would actually end up being beneficial for all parties.
I'm not surprised one bit, and neither were you guys. I'm teaching you guys well. This person's completed 900 deliveries, and they said out of the 900 deliveries, they've never received a tip from someone who didn't add a tip before their delivery. And the only people who tipped extra were the people who have already tipped on the app.
This person is pretty well experienced overall. I can't say she's a total veteran, like not anybody who's like been around since 2013, 14, any of the older gig app people, but that being said, she knows what she's talking about. Stop believing them when they say they'll tip after, Kearns captioned her video. People will easily take advantage of you, so know your worth. Okay, hear me out when I say this. 100% know your worth. That is factually accurate. However, I would actually say people who say they're gonna tip after are the biggest red flag customers ever. If they were going to tip, they were gonna tip anyway. I actually did a delivery up in New York, and I was on Doordash. I was a solo apper, relatively new, and they said in the instructions after I picked up the order that they were going to tip after I've already dropped it off. The base pay was pretty good already, apparently. I didn't even realize it was only base pay at the time, but I delivered the order. I got up to the door, but as I was delivering the order, I got up to the door. The guy rolls out in a wheelchair. He looked like he was just angry at the world or whatever, and in my mind, yeah, he's in a wheelchair. Of course he's gonna be angry with the world. So he takes the food, puts it on the desk, and slams the door in my face, knowing damn well that he wasn't gonna tip me, as he said in the instructions. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I finish the order in the app, get myself situated in my car, realized that $8 base pay was a thing, and I was like, wow, that was a lot, because they just introduced their new pay model, and the more it got declined, the higher the value went. And as I was making a K-turn to turn around and come back, the guy was bringing in the pails from the curb while walking. He was walking just fine. He pretended to be in a wheelchair to make me believe that I should feel pity for the guy and not confront him about not tipping. Like, I've seen some scummy things on these gig apps, but holy crap. So seriously, never believe them when they say that. In the comments, Kern's follow-up video, a number of fellow delivery drivers shared similar experiences. I have had one person out of 1,500 deliveries that didn't tip in the app give me a cash tip. One revealed. My experience is cash tip is on top of what they did in the app. First off, congratulations. Not a lot of people can say they even received a cash tip, period. They're so few and far between. And as you start to do more deliveries, there are going to be more outliers. That being said, you may receive more cash tips in the future. But overall, the number of gig workers that say they've ever received a cash tip, they can count the number of times that has happened on one hand. 1 out of 1,500, that's more than most. I never take no tip orders, another commenter shared. I've learned the hard way, and the only people who tip cash already tipped online as well. I feel like everybody really understands that once they've been a gig worker for a long period of time. Another assessed, I remember when I first started a few years ago, I used to take every delivery, so naive back then, LOL. We all remember our first year. We were so bright, so excited. We realized from the first couple weeks that they could actually make a significant amount of money if they really put in the work. They were willing to take orders that didn't make sense because they didn't know better at the time. They weren't following content creators or anything like that. One thing I will say to every new gig worker, develop a community or join a community talking about this stuff, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, or you join a Discord server or what have you. No tip, no trip, one emphasized. That's my time, fuel, and car maintenance. The worst of society are the ones who don't understand that, adding, why would we serve them? Well, you're 100% right about that, that's for sure. The one cool thing about working for tips on Doordash, UberEats, and Grubhub is that at least you know beforehand what kind of customers you're dealing with. If you work in a restaurant or you work in a gig that has customers that are, let's say, harder to deal with, you don't have a choice who you work with. In this case, you absolutely do. This is not the first time that Kearns has gone viral for her commentary. Last month, Kearns was featured in the Daily Dot for alerting customers about no delivery orders on Doordash. In another instance, she said she was fired from Amazon Flex after posting TikTok videos promoting her job. The latter I don't know about, but the prior, where she was promoting no delivery orders, I actually made a video talking all about that. I'll leave that in the description. Feel free to check that out. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. She brought up probably one of the biggest cornerstone points of no tip, no trip, is that there is no cash tip after. 9 times out of 10, the people who tip after are the ones who tip before, and you never accept orders that choose not to tip to begin with. It's financially irresponsible. It's account safety. It's irresponsible for your account safety. It's irresponsible for your ROT, or return on time. And quite honestly, it's just irresponsible for your own self-worth. Like, think about it like this. If every customer that you possibly worked with was either doing positive things for your mental health or your physical health, or negative things, and there's no in between, it's either positive or negative, who would you work with? The customers who choose to do the right thing by you, or the customers who are really looking out for themselves and choosing to do the wrong thing by you? Because I'll tell you what, I've never been more annoyed than working with a customer who tips like crap. And sure, not everybody's gonna agree with my tipping philosophy, philosophy, which is $5 or 20%, whichever is higher. That being said, if you choose not to tip at all, it's not worth it for us to work with you. But one thing she said without saying about no tip, no trip is the concept of having multiple apps so you can do that. Because anybody who's going to argue with me about no tip, no trip is not actually viable in their area because they don't have the tools and resources in their area, Uber Eats is just not as active, Grubhub is not as active, is not really diversified well enough. Now, that being said, what other options are there? You gotta actually put in the time and figure that out, but it really depends on what is available near you. Maybe it is something like Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Maybe you need to start veering out into package delivery like Amazon Flex or Veho. Maybe you need to start grocery delivery with Instacart or Shipped, Walmart Spark. Surveys such as user testing, catering delivery like Deliver That or Delivered, Roadie, Para Works, Proxy Picks, I View It. I could go all day, but the point is that you gotta figure out what you need for your app so you can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time as possible. And that's not even just for no tip, no trip. That's just for your overall financial security. But do yourself a favor, know your worth, and make sure you only work with customers who choose to respect you by tipping and never take a no tip customer as long as you can help it. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.